You had me thinking that she was my baby for 7 years.
No, because you are the father. You don't need Murray to tell you that. Come on now.
And I feel like you're making jokes about this whole situation when this is serious. I'm so hurt right now. I can't believe you would do this to me. I was there when she lost her first tooth. I helped her with her homework. We spent so much time together. And you still lying on this phone when a DNA test came back and said I am not the father? I can't believe you would do something like this to me.
I would really can't think of things right now.
Alright. Alright. You know something? You know something? You wrong. You so wrong for misleading me like that for all these years. I'm so hurt right now. But it's cool. You want to take everything as a joke? Karma is going to come back to you.
All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and the sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word in all truth and in sincerity, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. And it reads, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths." All right, and this is inspired through the Spirit by the video you just saw of Jake, which is a nickname for Jacob, all right, which consists of you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. All right, you are Jacob or Israel. All right, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. All right, but the source of this lesson, or the subject of this lesson, deals with this video. All right, and it all goes back to the curses through the Spirit. All right, this woman basically led this man to believe that a child was his for 7 years, when she knew that it was possible that it wasn't his child. What do I mean by that? For him to not be the child, that means she had to sleep with somebody else, unprotected around the same time. All right, and through the Spirit, this is the liberty that has been given, all right, to Negro, Latino, and Native American women, which most of them abuse in some way, shape, form, or fashion. All right, you have all manners of evil, all right, and the liberty to do so. And through that, a lot of Negroes, Latino, and Native American men have fallen victim to the snares and the nets of the wicked women of our people, man. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, I'm going to jump down to verse 56. All right, and it reads, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for her delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter." All right, and this society gives, it's almost, I'll say this as well, this society gives women incentives. All right, and what does incentives mean? Let's get the definition. All right. So the definition of incentive is a thing that motivates or encourages one to do something. So Esau gives women these benefits for reckless behavior. And though it may destroy us as a nation of people, they receive some kind of personal benefit. And this is the incentive, or this is the motivator, or the benefit or reward for this type of behavior. Now, in the ancient world, if a woman did that, she'd be stoned to death. If she was betrothed or promised to that man that the child didn't belong to, she would be put to death, and that man would be put to death. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. And the scriptures specifically say to put evil from among you, because these things are evil. All right, and this all goes back again to the disobedience. All right, the Lord said that he would leave us to our own counsel. Since we didn't want to take heed to his counsel, we were left to our own devices. And this is what happens. As a nation, we have been destroyed. All right. And Esau, being the cunning hunter that he is, he's given our women incentives. Again, the definition is a thing that motivates or encourages one to do something. All right. Through the child support system, the alimony and divorce system. Okay. Even the police force, in some capacity with domestic issues, gives women liberty to do things that they know are inherently evil. But they receive benefits from doing these things. All right, another definition of incentive is a payment or concession to stimulate greater output or investment. So when you look at a definition like that, Esau is basically making it more beneficial for a woman to be wicked in this world and to be righteous. And that's why brothers say the very few sisters that listen, because this world has been given as a playground of wickedness for the women of our people. All right. And a lot of them have used this and abused this and taken advantage of this. All right. Believing that there will be no consequence. All right. But the Lord is watching these things. As a matter of fact. All right. This is Ecclesiastes. All right. Chapter 5. Yeah. Chapter 5 and verse 8. And it reads, if thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. All right, so we're privy, we're witnesses, right, to the perverting of judgment and justice. All right, that man is an example of the perversion of justice and judgment. Because in the ancient world, this wouldn't have been tolerated, and for good reason. All right, when you look at the way our families are structured in this society. Going back to the curses, it's the consequence of not following the law, statutes, and commandments. Most of the curses are just direct consequences to not following the law, statutes, and commandments. When you don't follow the dietary law, dis-ease of the body happens. That's a direct consequence. The Lord said that these are curses. All right. And when you look at it, it's a consequence for disobedience. All right. The relationships that Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have in this society is a consequence of disobedience. The Lord called us a wicked and adulterous generation. And this is what adultery ultimately gets you. When sex is treated like something that's casual, when you deal with marriages, you destroy families. All right. Now, there were laws, statutes, and commandments in place to do everything in decency and in order. If a man wanted multiple wives, he could have multiple wives if he could provide for them. If a man wanted a concubine, he could have a concubine. All right. But there was a righteous way to do things. The society that we live in now and the culture that our people have adopted in this society has destroyed them. But it has allowed individuals of our nation to benefit from this destruction. All right. I.e. the women of our nation. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh Shemel shall have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. And that's what has happened. You have a society where the women make all the demands, and the very few demands that you Negro, Latino, and Native American men have for them is negotiable. All right. And that's why going back into Paul's time, Paul was like, he would have it that you not even have a woman. And it's because of these situations that most men find themselves in one way or another. It may not be as extreme as the video that you saw, but in one shape, form, or fashion, because this society is set up the way it is, it is beneficial, more beneficial for a woman in the flesh to be wicked than it is to be righteous. Now, ultimately, there's going to be a payment. There's going to be a cost. All right. The Lord said that, matter of fact, let's get it. All right. Because the highest is regarding these things. All right. This is 1 Timothy 5 and 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. All right. Why? Because the Lord is going to call these things to mind, and he's going to give them the fruit of their own doings. All right. The scriptures talk about them being trodden underfoot, the majority of our women, for the wickedness. All right. The men of our nation, the majority of them will be destroyed. for their wickedness. All right, because for a woman to commit adultery, she has to be doing it with someone. All right, and in the ancient world, these things would not have been tolerated. And when you look at the laws and the punishments, it seems extreme at first, but then as you realize what happens when you don't do proper judgment, you get a situation like this. Because what this guy's going through is just normal place. It's normal. The only difference is it just happened to be recorded. All right. And that's why the Lord said this about the careless daughters of Israel, man, the daughters of Zion, man, because our women, the majority of these women, all right, they don't believe that they're going to pay for these things. They don't believe that there is a consequence for this kind of thing. The Cardi B's, the Megan Thee Stallions, and the next generation that's being taught by these type of women, all right, is the reason that the majority of the women of our nation are going to be put to death, all right, along with the men of our nation, all right. This is Isaiah 32:11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Because this fruitful, this pleasant, these teats, these benefits that our people, mainly our women receive, all right, to destroy their homes, to destroy their families, to ultimately destroy their nation, all right, they're gonna fall, all right. There's gonna come a time where these things are going to not be available, these benefits. Because all of these things is fair game, so to speak, when the society is still standing. But in the society's collapse, all of these things are going to be called to mind. All right, the Lord said that they will be trodden underfoot, and there's a reason for that. And it's because of the liberty to do wickedness that they've taken advantage of. And we have very few sisters that have taken heed to this, to the law, statutes, and commandments, to the understanding of Yahweh Shema Shai, to that faith. And that's a gift. Because this society is built for our women to benefit from being wicked. But that's why the Lord is going to be justified in having them be trodden underfoot, as the scriptures say, man. Because you have a lot of these type of things going on in the world, man. And Jake really doesn't have any power to do anything about it. Right? This man, all he can say is you wrong. Like, he can't, there's no justice or judgment for that in this society. He has to wait upon the Lord, man. But ultimately, when the Lord comes, man, it's going to be a time of people are going to witness the anger and the wrath of the Lord. And it's because these type of things have been going on beyond our comprehension. There are a lot of things that are being done in the dark concerning the wickedness of the women of our nation. All right. That the Lord is going to call to mind. That's why this is a very serious time in humanity, if you want to be real with it. Because the heathens are going to be judged, but the Lord, he said he was first start his house, man. Let's get this. All right, this is, where is it? All right, bear with me. All right. This is Micah 7:10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden as the mire of the streets. All right, the Lord is not playing concerning the wickedness that's going on with our people, man. And Esau has given our women license to do such. And Esau, being the cunning hunter, he understands that this destroys a nation of people. And that's why he pays a Cardi B or a Beyonce or a Megan Thee Stallion millions of dollars per year to rap vulgar, disgusting type of music. There's a reason. Because this destroys a nation and it makes our people emboldened, inspired to do it. Because they see the whole Birkin bag controversy that our people are going through. All of these things. Now, granted, a man is supposed to provide for his household to the best of his ability, but the way that they've sensationalized that kind of understanding, all right, while at the same time not requiring the women to do what traditional women used to do, all right, has given our women license to do these things, man. And that's why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, the scriptures say a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, all right? Because the scriptures talk about the woman's heart being snares and nets. And that's why it's very few women of our nation, all right, that are going to be saved, man. All right, because very few women have been given the gift, if you will, to resist benefiting from this wickedness, because it's so easy for them to do. You had one video where this woman was talking about if she get 4 baby daddies, that's 4 different incomes that she can get through child support. So why would she want to have all her children with one man? That kind of mindset benefits her personally, but it destroys a nation of people, man. Because those children grow up in a household witnessing that. And ultimately, these things all go back to the curses, man. But this just shows you how far this has gone. All right, but the scriptures say, marvel not. All right, because the Lord is taking notes, man. The Lord is regarding these things. He's witness to these things. And it's disgusting that that man would be wronged like he's been wronged. And there's really nothing he can do about it. He can't get those 7 years back. That's over. It's a wrap. Only thing he can do at this point is move forward. Now, really, that was a blessing in disguise, because now he's free from the burden of that woman. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 7:26. And it reads, I'll start at 25. I applied mine heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman. And that's how cold the Lord is, right? Because you Negro, Latino, and Native American men, you are the woman of the Most High. And what I mean by that is that's the same way you feel about a woman is how the Lord feels about us as a nation of people, beginning with the men of our nation. Your attention should be focused on Yahweh Shema Shai. Everything else should fall in line. And everything else will fall in line, including your family. Likewise, just like you would want your woman, you to be the main focus of your woman in some way, shape, or form. But the same way the woman can be the greatest asset to your situation. When our priorities aren't right with Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord has made her the greatest liability. Because it says again in verse 26, I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh Shema Shai shall escape from her. And that's ironic that, Jake talk about dating in this society, and he says, what, you got to have game. Why? Because this is a game. You have to make it through these snares and these nets and these bands. And for most men, it destroys them. All right. Continuing on, it says, but the sinner shall be taken by her. All right. I'm going to read that one more time. And I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh Shema Shai shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. And that's why the Lord has, to a degree, separated us from this world. We still have to be in this world, but we're not of it. And for you brothers, especially the younger brothers, when you first come in, you find out you can have more than one woman, and that understanding gets you excited, to a degree. But understand this, that the Lord is going to keep you from a lot of the so-called women that you want. All right. Because really, it says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. All right. But the wicked women of our world, of our nation, all right, the Lord is going to keep you from them if you please him. And that is the beauty of this straight gate. It may, you're going to go through things no matter what, but it's better to go through things in the straight gate as opposed to the broad gate. Because you'll end up like a Jake like this one, man, who's, he's having a conversation with this woman, and you can tell Jake is legitimately hurt, but there's nothing he can do about that. This system allows her to benefit from that situation. And she didn't even give him the dignity of saying sorry. She just laughed it off. That's why the scriptures say she's dead. She that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. This man provided for a child that wasn't even his and didn't even know it. And that's why Solomon said he found more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. Because one thing about Jake, man, when Jake get into a woman, he get into it. And that's one of the biggest hurts that Jake goes through in this life is dealing with the woman. All right. And through the spirit, you know, the scriptures say to marvel not, because once you understand this according to wisdom, you understand that you expect these things. You know, and you move with that type of wisdom through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. And that's why brothers say salutation to the sincere Aqua, the few sisters that do listen. All right. Because for you to not tap into this madness that's going on in the world, even though it's to your advantage in this world, in the flesh, that's the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai upon you. Because our women in this world, that's why the scriptures say they shall lament for the teats, because they benefit greatly from these things, man. Without having to actually do what they were designed to do as women, to be a helpmeet to a man. That's why the scriptures say this in 1 Esdras, the 4th chapter. All right, let's get it. 1 Esdras 4. And I'm going to jump down. All right. This is 1 Esdras 4, and let me find it. Yep, verse 26. Yea, man, there be many that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes, man. And truly it was supposed to be the opposite way. And that shows you like the beauty of Yahweh Shemel Shai's counsel. All right, because, you know, contrary to popular belief, marriage is a business to a certain degree. What do I mean by that is that it's not just about this lovey-dovey feeling that you have. It's a understanding of duty that you have to contribute positively to your nation. Because love, if you want to call it that, can be a beautiful thing, you know, and that's why Jake, you know, when they get into a woman, they really get into it, you know, but a lot of Jakes are jaded because they've been in this society, and so many wicked women, you know, have abused their liberty, if you want to call it that a lot of Jake is just jaded, and we understand why it's like that. And that's why through the spirit, you know, we focus on Yahweh Shemel Shai, you know, but many there be that have run out of their wits and become servants to women, when really it's supposed to be the opposite. You know, the Lord created you, especially you Israelite men, the Lord created you to lead. As kings and priests under Hamashiach, you're gonna judge angels, as it says in I believe it's 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, maybe 2 Corinthians. But it say ye shall judge angels. That means you're gonna be the top man on the earth. You're not designed to be a servant for women's sake. But what you have in this society is a lot of the men of our nation are caught up in this snare and net of this society and the music and all of these unrealistic ideals that this world gives the men of our nation, that you gotta do all of these things, and they make you put everything above everything a priority in your life except for Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, and that's why it says broad is the way that leads to destruction. All right, and many there be that find that path. And a lot of men are on that path due to women, because they want the women that they see, because the women look nice, they're beautiful on the outward, but their mind is hard. Their mind is snares and nets. And through the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, the Lord has given us our first love back, which is Sophia, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And in due time, all right, we'll eat the fruit of this vine, man. All right. But that's the anger of the Lord coming down upon this earth. And through these situations that Jake has to go through in this world, because they make everything their priority except Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. That's why, going back to Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, it said the ones who please Yahweh Shemel Shai will escape from those wicked women. All right, but the sinner shall be taken with her. Matter of fact, let me get it. Ecclesiastes 7:26. And I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh Shema shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. And a lot of the men of our nation are taken by the women of our nation, all right, because they look good, because they can put on makeup and become a different person and look like a model. You know, they put on fake hair and they do this whole facade. And a lot of men run out of their wits chasing something that really isn't real, because that's not really her. You know, she pretends to be on her best behavior for the first couple months of the relationship, and you're dating somebody that you thought was her. And that's the whole game of this society that our people call dating and marriage. It's really just a domestic form of prostitution, because in the ancient world, a woman would marry one man and that would be her man until that man died. All right. Or if he divorced her. But as Mashiach said, it wasn't supposed to be that way, because marriages were about nation building. And now it's just about your own personal happiness. And that's where that's why the Lord said this. Let's get it. This is Isaiah 29:16. And it reads, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Because this society looks like it's progressive. Don't nobody want to do that old school stuff. Y'all sound like my grandma. All of these things that the Lord said were right to do, people are looking at it as if it's outdated, when really it was the best way for all parties involved. The women, they win in this kind of society until they get too old and they get to the point where men don't want them anymore. The Lord has set it up so that a woman had a husband. And that's why you had multiple wives in the household, because there were more women than men. All right. And it was about nation building at the end of the day. But we're far from that type of society. And most of our people esteem this. They look at this like it's better than the counsel of the Heavenly Father. Even some Israelites, they'll say, you know, dealing with the age of a woman during marriage. You're not upset with us. You're upset with the Heavenly Father and how he set things up. And really, that was the best case scenario for a woman who was coming into her age, to hurry up and be married before she gave away the flower of her virginity to someone that she wasn't married to. All right, to someone that wasn't approved by her father, I should say, because sex is marriage. It's the consummation of marriage. And now we live in a society where there's this casual sex situation, and a lot of our women really don't benefit from it. They do in the beginning when they're young and all these men want them. But then when they get too old, now nobody really wants them. And that's why it wasn't meant to be like this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. And this guy is just an example of, among many examples of why the Lord told us what he told us, man, to follow his counsel, man. The scriptures say the Lord's counsel shall stand, man. There's a reason the Lord told us to do certain things and not do certain things. And the curses is just a consequence of being disobedient. All right. And that's why, along with the men of our nation, all right, the women of our nation are going to be in for a rude awakening when they can't call 911. All right. When this society goes dark, all of that bragging on social media and going out on dates is going to come to an end. And now you're going to deal with the reality of what happens when the society collapses. And that's why the scriptures say a man shall be a hiding place. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is Isaiah 32:2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Because those men that are serving Yahweh Shema Shai, who are of the elect, all right, are going to be saved from these things. And the women that the Lord allows to be with that man are going to be protected in that day under that man's protection. Because the Lord is protecting him, they will be protected. But the majority of our women will not have that luxury. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah. And a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the few Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.